Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul Saxberg introducing to you the game Pirates of Proxima Centauri. This is a 2 to 3 player game. It takes approximately 15 minutes to play. Once you're familiar with the rules, I'm going to show you a 3-player setup here. Falcon teaching method. They suggest that the first thing you should tell people is what your goal is. So the goal in Pirates is to collect victory points, to have the most of them by the end of the game. Victory points are indicated by these symbols here, the coins with numbers in them. These are primarily acquired by ships that you're going to be ambushing. This is a card game in which cards are going to come to you inside these convoy tuck boxes, and periodically you're going to choose to attack the convoys and attempt to capture the cards within them. So first, let's show you the components. So you've seen some of the cards already. The cards come in 4 basic flavors. 2 of them are your goal cards. They are the freighter and the science cards. That just tells you the type of ship they are, up on the top there. Then the victory point value of the ship. There's a graphic. Those that have no gameplay value, that's just for cosmetic purposes. Some of the ships will have distress calls on them. I'll explain what that means a little bit later. And the technology ships, the science ships, have a bonus that they give you if you capture them. Protecting them from you are their escorts. Escort ships look like this. There's a few different kinds. Occasionally some of them will also have distress calls. They have a combat value at the top that you're attempting to beat in order to destroy them. In addition to those, there are 3 special ships in the game. I'm going to talk about them later. So in addition to that, we have the unique feature of the game. These are tuck boxes that came from the Panda manufacturing kit. They have had the top just cut off here so that the top inch or so is visible. You will notice that when you put a card into the tuck box, face up, the topmost section of the card is visible. So that's graphically designed with that intentionally in mind. The convoys also have a letter designating what order they go in when they're resolved, and they also have a combat value because every convoy includes at least 1 escort to begin with. In addition to that, in the game, we've got some little player card reminders of the turn sequence, and they're going to have the combat sequence on the back in later versions. We've got the dice that came with the Panda kit. They have the numbers 1 through 5 on them, and a little symbol on the top. In a final version of the game, that would probably be a little explosion. It represents a critical hit. For now, they're pandas, which is fine. We've got 5 colored discs. These are technology discs that you're going to use to try and build technology. We've got 5 special cards, which match them in color, 1 for each, and these are types of technology you can acquire throughout the game. You've got some negative scoring cards. If your ship gets destroyed by the escorts, they can't really destroy you permanently, but what they can do is send you back for repair, and that will cost you a lot of money, and thus will cost you points in the game. And then we have these gems, which represent energy from your ship, and they're used simultaneously as hit points in combat and also as rerolls for your dice. If you ever run out of those in a combat, you've lost the combat. And then the remaining, actually this pretty much describes the setup of the game right here. Everything is going to be central where everybody can see it and reach it. The cards all get shuffled and each player gets dealt 7 of them to begin with. I've already done this for sake of setting up the player video. And so you're going to start with a hand that looks something like this. And the first thing you're going to do with this is you're going to set up the first convoys. Now, when you don't know what you're doing, that's, I guess, a challenge, but hopefully the video will give you some clues, right? So this character here, to set up a convoy, what you're going to do is you're going to pick 3 cards out of your hand. And we're going to pick this, this, and this. Now, the idea is, what you're trying to do is set up a convoy that looks either dangerous or valuable, so the other players will either attack it or not attack it, as you see fit. So let's say this player really likes the idea of those are victory points and this piece of technology. So they're going to put them into the convoy in the hopes that they can later attack it. These go face down. so no one can see them. But they have to play one card face up, so the other players can see it. So we're going to put this in here, and it's an escort, so we're trying to warn off the other players from attacking this convoy. Now, you may have to be a little fiddly with your hands to avoid any sort of reveal, because if you accidentally show the other players what's on the bottom of the cards, that's bad. So I actually recommend first starting with the face-up card, putting it in like so, and then taking your face-down cards out of your hand and slipping them underneath. I've already done this for the other two players to save time. Once your initial convoys are set up, they all pass to the left. So this is a reverse card draft. This is what inspired this game in the first place. The idea being that instead of taking cards out of a deck for your own hand, you're putting cards from your hand into the deck that's going by. Now, the game begins properly. So everyone is taking a turn at the same time. But they're resolved in order of the convoys A, B, and C, and they should randomize who gets A at the beginning, and then B should always be to their left. In a two-player game, you don't use B, you just use A and C. But we've got the three-player game here, so that's what we're going to play out a couple turns of. You have two things that you can do on your turn. You can either lie low and increase your stealth and increase your technology, or you could attack this convoy. Now we're going to say that this player's plan is to try to attack convoy B because they know there's something good in there. Player to their right has set up what looks like a tempting convoy. It's got treasure in it and it's got a low combat value, but we're going to say that we don't trust him, so we're going to choose not to attack it. If you don't attack, you do two things. First of all, you take one of the technology discs and you just keep it in your area there. Once you have 3 of these, you're going to be able to exchange them for technology. The second thing you do is you put a card from your hand into the tuck box. You reverse draft. So let's say well, we don't trust him. That might actually be a sweet treasure convoy. We don't want him to get it for free. So we're going to put this big bad escort in there. And we're going to do it face down so the other players can't see it, like so, and we're going to pass. The other players are also going to pass. This guy's going to take a piece of technology. This guy's going to take a piece of technology and put a card into his tuck box and send it this way. So that is one turn. Now we'll just say, again, we'll say that this looks dangerous. There's 2 big escorts. We'll say he doesn't want to attack that. He's going to stick to his original plan. Let's put a little treasure freighter in there and repeat the process again. Take a piece of technology. Oh, except actually, I've messed up. Player A is supposed to go first, always. So player A is also doing that, taking a piece of technology. So we have not yet taken that. Player B takes a piece of technology, puts a card in here, and now we have a problem, because there's no technology left to take. So I've already added the card. In a situation where you cannot take technology because there's none left, the cost of technology just goes down. Normally you need 3, but in this case, there's none left to take, so there's a technological breakthrough. So instead of trading in 3, you're going to trade in whatever you have. So in this case, this player's getting a bonus because he's only having to trade in 1. When you trade in 1, you have to get a technology of the color that you chose. So you handed in a yellow. So we're going to take the yellow jammer. If he had traded in, say, these 3, the red, the black, and the yellow, he could have chosen either the red, the black, or the yellow technology. You take one that's in play. If the red was already gone, then you'd take one of the ones that was in play. If you're trading in technology, and the technology you're forced to take something that's not still in play, then you actually do get to take it from the other player for yourself. So you can lose technology after you've acquired it in this game. So that's this player's turn now, has taken this and taken some technology. So all 3 players have added a card. We're going to rotate these again. Now, oops, throwing stuff around here. Player B's plan has come to fruition. The other players didn't attack the convoy that he was after. Player A is just going to take technology because, look, that gives him 3 now. So he's lucky. He trades those 3 in. He can't take the yellow because it's already gone. If he could still take it if all 3 were gone. But he's going to take the cloak instead, the blue one. So he's done. This is coming to A. But before that, we're going to choose to attack. So to attack a convoy, you empty it out. You set your hand aside there. I'm going to look at what we got in here. So, there's a couple of steps involved. First of all, this is where the distress calls come into play. If any of the ships in the convoy have a distress call, then the other players have the option of playing an escort into the battle to make life difficult for you. However, this player's lucky. He's got the jammer. The jammer prevents distress calls, so we can skip that step. So we line up the ships in the convoy. Now, the tuck box itself counts as a ship, so we're going to put it in the convoy as well. So this gives us a total number of ships of 6. The first thing you do then, I'm going to have to continue this in part 2 because I've got somebody at the door.